met her in the fall. He took her to a movie, and when they done it all, he took her.
Hello and welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show. I'm Amanda Palmer, and for this week's Q&A, we have filmmaker brothers Tomer and Barak Heyman. They've brought their incredibly personal documentary that was 21 years and 1 day and 2 seconds in the making, and it's called The Queen Has No Crown.
Tomer uses his family troubles as a metaphor for Israel's, and nothing is out of balance.
כל מה שמעניין אותך זה הסרטים הצ'וקמקים שלך, סוחטי הרגשות והמניפולטיביים.
In our Q&A, the filmmaker brothers explain how their mum reacted to the deeply intimate film.
That a Jewish woman called to her son Nazis. She said, yeah, it was too much for me.
Also on the show,
Chilly old, huh?
an unconventional police officer tests the boundaries of comedy.
That black people couldn't ski, whereas that's swimming.
But first, if you list the French blockbusters of the last few decades, there's a better than even chance that one name will be attached: Luc Besson.
Showtime.
No, mademoiselle, no!
It's the super stylish sense of spectacle that marks out Luc Besson's films. Whether he's dealing with sci-fi, thriller, or a journey of self-exploration.
You were right. It's much better down there.
Besson's Cinema de Luc unites large-scale action with an intense psychological focus on young, alienated characters. It's a theme he's continued with his first comic book adaptation, The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blanc-Sec, about a ballsy French reporter.
The character of Adele, this woman from 1912, totally radical and funny and free.
Tu en as un beau plumage. Bon. En tout cas, il fait pas partie de la famille du rossignol, celui-là.
That's what I was interested the most, is her story.
Comment dis-tu avance en arabe?
Yalla, mademoiselle Adèle.
Allez, yalla! Et comment dis-tu avance, sale bourrique, ou je te découpe en rondelles?
Besson has always been drawn to wild and powerful women.
I think I'm interested by the strength of the woman and the weakness of the man.
Somebody hear this? Come and get me. I'm in the first row.
You know, I'm interested by the reverse, you know. The man is supposed to be the strong one. So what happened when he's weak?
His kick-ass women get their strength and their humanity from the same place. From their innocent vulnerability.
Naivety is a strength. You know, sometimes if you don't have it, you don't do anything. If you're naive, you say, why not? And the funny thing is, it's this naivety who makes you make films.
The naivety in Besson's films is mixed with a huge dose of harsh reality.
Please open the door.
The world today is pretty chaotic already. They don't need script writers. If you take a basic situation of Léon, for example, you have this guy, he's a killer and is a bad guy. He doesn't know how to write and read. But he's the only one who can save a little girl. So who is bad, who is good? That's what I'm the most interested by in the film. It's just to, you know, to disturb people a little with things who are not the way they should be, but there's another point of view of it.
Besson's other point of view is often told through the music in his films, typically provided by his longtime collaborator, Eric Serra.
Excusez-moi, je cherche l'exposition sur Ramsès II.
Tout à fait.
The music is the second dialogue. rather than to say, I love you very, 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 very much, you can say I love you, and Eric will say very, very, very. So we have to share, we have to share the space with the dialogue, and sometimes I give him the room, and sometimes I take the room.
This is really amazing.
The extraordinary resonates through Besson's films, and it's with his childlike abandon that he paints his own fantasies on the big screen.
Je ne sortirai pas de cette pièce sans mon or.
Ah, j'en ai bien peur.
I'm not going to have a man and a woman sitting in a kitchen for 2 hours, just because I'm not interested by that in the movie thing. I want the movie experience for me is to imagine myself on the skin of somebody else. I want to fly in a cab in New York in 2600. I want to be Adele and, talking with mommies.
À vos souhaits.
I want this type of adventure. I'm in a dark room with a big screen and I want to dream. I want to dream that I'm not who I am, but I am better than who I am.
Every now and then, a quirky Irish film manages to bottle that special something they have over there. And the latest example is called The Guard.
The vessel we are looking for is a 60-foot ship called the Annabelle Lee. Now, DEA believe it to have somewhere in the vicinity of $500 million worth of cocaine on board.
Sergeant Jerry Boyle doesn't have much time for diplomacy.
You lads are always announcing a seizure of drugs worth a street value of $10 million or $20 million or $500 million. I do always wonder what street it is you're buying your cocaine on, because it's not the same street as I'm buying my cocaine on.
That's enough now, Boyle.
When an international drug gang is suspected of smuggling near his small Irish coastal town...
Why is it always me, though?
Because you're a psychopath.
I'm a sociopath, not a psychopath.
Boyle, played by Brendan Gleeson, is paired up with a straight-laced FBI agent in the form of Don Cheadle.
Privileged background, huh?
Some in the Hamptons, skiing in Aspen, that kind of thing.
Skiing, yeah? I thought black people couldn't ski. Or is that swimming?
The character isn't actually racist, is that he knows the people he works with are. And so he is like a sort of an agent provocateur. He's trying to say stuff that will bring everybody's prejudices out.
Never have crack.
Do you think I would tell you if I had?
I've had it.
You certainly are an unconventional police officer, Sergeant Boyle.
Thank you.
That was not meant as a compliment.
He's quite an offensive character initially. But fundamentally, I think he's somebody whose integrity and idealism has been crushed almost by just the ordinary small compromises of everyday life that make life unbearable.
It's John Michael McDonough's first feature.
How you doing, sir?
But he found it all surprisingly easy.
You assume that people will maybe be more intelligent than you or more talented, and then you get into a situation you realise, oh, actually, they're not more intelligent than you, they're not a nicer person than you, they're not more talented than you, and they've got the reins of a $35 million movie, right? And that's when you realise that it's all, it's all rubbish, and you could do it as well as they could.
I've had a lad over from the FBI.
Oh, the behavioural science unit.
Drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Cocaine.
Cocaine. I could do with some cocaine. They say it gives you great get up and go.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Fabulous Picture Show and this Q&A of The Queen Has No Crown. Could I please introduce the filmmakers here? This is Tamer and his brother, Barak Heyman. I'm going to start with the obvious. The Queen Has No Crown. What does this mean?
It took us almost 1 year to decide about the name. Barak, my brother, the producers, we fight a lot about it. Do you agree to share about it?
Yes, of course. Well, the queen is many things, but I think it mainly refers to our big mama, our mother, who have 5 sons, and 3 of them have left Israel at one point and have left her in some ways and moved to the US. And she stayed with only 40% of her crown around. Yeah. But it also refers to the Israel country, which is becoming a very, very difficult place to live in.
The power of the Queen Has No Crown is the way Tamer Heyman uses his large family to question whether life is about committing to a big idea or just seeking out pleasure.
הסיבה ללכת למצעד גאווה הייתה להסתכל על בחורים. ושם פגשתי את ארז.
For director Tamer's generation, the idea of Israel is less important than the reality.
מעקב 15 דיזנגוף 15 הרוגים. תומר, כל בוקר אתה פותח אינטרנט ואתה רואה הרוגים.
One by one, his brothers leave.
עופר אחי הגדול התקבל ללימודי דוקטורט באוניברסיטת אורגון. הוא החליט לנסוע לאמריקה עם אשתו ושלושת ילדיו.
They leave behind a devastated mother.
ממש הפסדתי.
לא, אבל דתי את מסתכלת.
אני גם מובסת וגם מופסדת.
And an equally devastated country. Director Tamer is one of the most interesting subjects of his intimate film.
ונשאבה לילה?
בטח. כן? כן?
He's its keenest pleasure seeker.
יודעת איזה נשיקות מדהימות היו לנו? נשבע לך, את לא מאמינה, את חזק.
But as a filmmaker based in Israel, he's also the most committed to his country, despite his twin brother's cynicism.
משפחתי זה משפחה. צריך להשאיר אחריך משהו חוץ מסרטים בינוניים.
But there's no doubt the center of the story is the mother, who shares her deepest feelings with her son's camera.
שחר, שתבכה תזכור את סבתא שלך? שהיא בוכה בכפר ידידיה? אוקיי.
One of the most poignant moments for you in the film was when, Tamer, when you ask your mother, who did she feel they were most abandoned, country or her?
For them, for my parents' generation, the individual was not so important. It's you need to create your family. We raised to our blood systems that whatever going on in the country, you stay there, you never leave, and you die for it.
ואבא שלי שקוראים לו זה הכעס. זה הכי נורא שקרה לי.
אבל שהוא עזב את הארץ, או שהוא עזב אותך?
זה הולך ביחד.
Our generation is from the other side. We care about our movies, festival, career, traveling, love. So it's the gap or the culture war. It's hard for them.
Everything it seems I like's a little bit stronger.
Tamer, I guess this is the purpose of your filmmaking. You feel it's very important that you find audiences in your own country.
The first thing that's important for me to show my movie in Israel, because Israel is my place, this is my country. I have many issues with it, but it's important for me to put a mirror to the Israelis.
We are part of a new generation of Israeli filmmakers who dare to ask very controversial questions and dare to doubt many facts. Our grandfather escaped from Germany, he came to Israel, and our parents who were born in Israel, they created Israel. They made it to be what it is now. And now we are coming, the third generation, and allow ourselves, and I'm proud to say it, hey, I'm not sure you did such an amazing job.
בעשור הזה שצילמתי, ממשלות ישראל הפעילו עוצמה רבה לדכא כל התנגדות לכיבוש. הזכות להביע דעה שונה מהרוב הלכה והצטמצמה.
You will travel to parts of the world and they will call you Zionists. You will go back to your home country and they'll probably call you left-wing radicals. Yet it's the same film. And yet people see it so differently.
Some people say, how you dare the Jewish people with your history to talk like this about Israel? Why you share it with the outside people?
Like we present Israel in a very problematic way for some people.
And from the other hand, someone says, wow, this is a very Zionist movie. It's happened around us in many aspects, influence the way we edit the movie. The movie is full with anger against government, the Israeli government, any government. That's relevant to what's going on in the world. You know, this crazy government, what's they doing with their power against the people?
How interesting to be talking about governments and see what's happened in the Middle East in recent times. You are seeing the entire Middle East transform.
And I hope this revolution will cross a border and come into Israel. I just wait for it every day. I don't know what's going on. Why they don't know to build a wall between Cairo and Israel, and here's a wall. Come inside. Come, influence us.
מחורה שלי, ארץ נור אביונה, למלכה אין בית, למלך אין כתר.
I don't know if I'm alone in feeling disappointed that the Palestinians were really only shown as terrorists. What was the reasoning? I don't know, but I'd like your comment.
I'm a Jewish guy, born in Israel. This is my family. This is my childhood. It's not objective movie. And also, why you don't say it also about the Orthodox Jewish people in the gay pride? You get a very bad reputation for the Orthodox people.
למה השם מעניש, כתוב בתורה, מות יומת, שוכב זכר, מות יומת.
When I came back to my house, the one who destroyed my car was my Arab neighborhood. Shall I change it for the movie?
But I thought that there might have been something. I don't know.
5 minutes in the movie, it's a dialogue with a beautiful man from Lebanon. For telling the story about my family, I don't need Ahmed in the movie.
I feel more in tune with you than with other Americans.
Why?
I told you. Culturally, we're so similar. Everything is similar.
It's an incredibly intimate film, as you say, but what parts were most difficult for you, do you think? Was it Mum?
I was afraid she will mention, the whole dialogue with her. She told me, for her, that a Jewish woman in the Jerusalem gay pride called to her son Nazis. She said, yeah, it was too much for me.
The camera is very central to a lot of your relationships, and it's possible that the film is made because your family is so used to seeing you walking around with a camera and just going, yes, Tomer again. It's a possibility because that you were having the relationship with your family and the camera that you had these conversations that you might not have had. I'm thinking about mainly the interview with your father.
18 years ago, when I was filming his first visiting my apartment, he needed to agree to something for him was very, very tough.
אורח החיים שלך. אני אוהב אותך כמו שאתה. מאוד אפילו.
So why and that's the only way I was able to deal with my father those days. That's true.
With the camera as a crutch kind of thing to help you relate.
And being with my mother in hospital, it was hard for me being there without the camera. It's who I was. Barak was able to hold her hand and to touch her. If I forget the camera, I didn't show up to the hospital.
For us as a family members, the camera was just like another organ in Tomer's body. And at some point it was just something that, of course, was irritating and annoying sometimes, but at the same time was creating beautiful moments that would not happen without this camera.
מה יש בדאלאס, טקסס? מה אתה מדמיין בראש?
הכל. עיר כמו נתניה, תל אביב וירושלים מחוברות ויותר גדולה.
The 8mm that my father shot in 1976, I think that actually Tomer talent as a cameraman and this tendency is coming from him, and I just felt of a sudden like say, hey Dad, thank you very much, because without it this film would not be as strong.
So your father was the one who handed you the camera, really?
I discovered it like that, I try to avoid being like my parents, and I'm more and more like my parents.
לא הייתי נותן לה את פרס האם המצטיינת למאה הזאת. הייתה כל הזמן עצבנית והייתה צועקת, ואתה יודע. הייתה די בלתי נסבלת, אפשר לומר.
Do you feel that the last 20 years of filming have strengthened or fractured your relationships with your family, with your lovers?
Till the movie was not published, everything was more simple and more easy for everyone. I think it's including anger, disappointed, in some way feeling of being used by me.
כל מה שמעניין אותך זה הסרטים הצ'וקמקים שלך, סוחטי הרגשות והמניפולטיביים. במקום לתת למצלמה לדבר, אתה מתערב ומחטט.
It will take years to talk about it, to heal it, to work with it.
Thank you for bringing your film, and you as an audience today were incredibly generous and thoughtful, so thanks for supporting these two filmmakers very much. Tamar and Barak.
Thank you very much.
It's me? כן? עד שנכנס למים. ומה עם הבחור? עזוב אותך בחורים עכשיו. היי! חמוד הבחור.
When white America killed Dr. King last night, she declared war on us.
America's civil rights movement gets a fresh treatment in documentary The Black Power mixtape with some rare archive and a funky new soundtrack, as well as interviews with the formidable activist Angela Davies.
You ask me, whether I approve of violence. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense at all. What it means is that the person who's asking that question has absolutely no idea what black people have gone through.
She is an idol of mine. I adore her. She's brilliant. She's right even when she's wrong. My biggest surprise in doing this film was meeting her and finding out that she was also funny and a warm person.
In order for nonviolence to work, your opponent must have a conscience. The United States has none. Has none.
Even though the turbulent days of the civil rights movement are now over, this film still poses important questions for modern-day America.
These people in the Black Power movement and any other movement, you can disagree with them, but you have to have people to say, this is a police state. In order for the state not to be a police state. We have to have those arguments all the time.
And while the clothes and the music may have changed, some things never go out of fashion.
When we started, demonstrations, that's from another era. Revolution, that's old stuff. And now in Egypt we saw demonstration causing a revolution. So demonstrations are in, people are mistreated and will raise up.
America's always going to be okay as long as black people don't totally lose their mind, because we'll pick up the pieces and we'll turn it into a new dam.
Well, that's it for this fabulous picture show. I knew it was going to be a personal Q&A, but how do you feel now?
In Hebrew we say from a very simple place, simple words, toda rabba, which means thank you very much.
Being here in Al Jazeera, it's something that have a lot of meanings to us as people who are coming from Israel, and it was a very, very exciting, strong experience to us. Thank you.
Well, I hope it all heralds new times in the region.
And I hope we found a crown to my mother.
Everyone just need to know a place to stand and call their own. And I can see my place in you, the things you say, stuff you do.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate this film and why?
10.
I would say 8.
I would rate it at 9.
It was really brave. It was really brave.
It's open-minded, it's philosophical. I really like it. I really like the mother's role, because I'm Indian, so I can relate to her.
Families are about love and hate, and I just thought that was very, very real.